Discover the miraculous construction of Noah's Ark, every sacred detail unveiled by God's plan. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, the earth was filled with corruption, and violence had reached its zenith. Men's hearts had utterly forsaken the Creator, provoking unyielding wrath. Yet, amid this desolation, one man stood out: Noah, a righteous, blameless man, fully devoted to God. In an ominous moment, the Lord spoke, revealing the startling truth of humanity's degeneracy, declaring, "The end of all flesh has come before me." With this heavy burden, he instructed Noah to build an ark, a vessel of salvation. Shaken yet determined, Noah pondered the weight of this divine commission. The dimensions were daunting: 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Guided by God's exact blueprint, the monumental task transformed into the centerpiece of Noah's existence. With each nail driven, his heart echoed the promise of rescue, not only for his family, but for the innocent creatures of the earth. As his neighbors looked upon him with scorn, Noah, undeterred, swung his hammer each day among the tall trees, the wood fragrant and fresh. They gathered in clusters, sharing incredulous whispers. "How can rain fall when the sky is clear?" Their laughter, once mere annoyance, grew into a cacophony of derision. Children pointed and mocked as their parents scoffed. "This man prepares for a calamity that will never come." Noah's determination became a beacon of hope, cloaked in sorrow. Each mocking jeer sharpened his resolve, reminding him of the sacred command embedded in his heart: "You shall enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you." Those words, divine treasures, served as anchors in the storm of ridicule. The days turned to years, and still the sky remained untouched by rain. With the ark rising, pairs of creatures began arriving. Lions prowled, gazelles bounded, and colorful birds flocked. It was a puzzling sight that both encouraged and confounded Noah. The divine script unfolded before his eyes. Nature itself responded to its Creator's beckoning. In moments of prayer, he sought God amid the growing storm of human apathy surrounding him. "Will anyone heed your warning?" his heart cried. Yet the promise surged through him like floodwaters: "I will establish my covenant with you." There it was, the divine assurance, shimmering like a beacon illuminating his path. But the winds shifted, and ominous clouds gathered on the horizon, filling the air with foreboding. The laughter that had once mocked him fell silent, replaced by an unnerving stillness that hinted at destiny's approach. As the first raindrop fell, a solitary reminder of God's might, the weight of the divine decree bore down on Noah and his family. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey. I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. As thunder rumbled in the distance, a storm unlike any other approached, lifting the veil on the fate of humanity. With hearts entwined in faith, Noah gathered his family, the first drops of rain heralding a new beginning. Hope surged within as he found solace in their shared purpose, gazing upon the ark, ever a testament to the promise that was yet to unfold. As the rains began in earnest, the skies opened, unleashing torrents upon the earth. The drops fell like judgment, swift and relentless, a divine response to the wickedness that had woven itself into the very fabric of creation. Noah watched in awe as the water built upon the ground, swallowing the dust and dirt where once laughter and revelry thrived. The heart of Noah was heavy yet steadfast. "Lord," he murmured in the depths of his spirit, "the time has come as you declared. I trust in your promise." He urged his family into the ark, their hearts aflame with fear and faith. Ham, Shem, and Japheth moved with purpose, securing the entrance as the rising waters began to lap against the timbers of their great vessel. Soon the laughter of the world was drowned, the harsh cacophony of disbelief silenced by the power of the Creator. Above the many claps of thunder, a divine whisper filled the ark. "Come into the ark, my faithful servant. The floodwaters shall not touch you." Each word renewed Noah's resolve, immersing his heart in peace amid the chaos. Inside the ark, a holy sanctuary formed under the covenantal promise. The animals nestled close, pairs of creatures befriending each other across a divide once unfamiliar. The lions roared softly, the lambs bleated, and the birds flitted, harmonious within the protective walls. Days melded into nights, and the rain persisted, a relentless downpour as the fountains of the deep burst forth and windows of heaven opened wide. Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. For 40 days and 40 nights the earth was a canvas of fury, and the ark floated above the torrent. Genesis chapter 7, verse 17, cradled by divine providence. In amidst this maelstrom, Noah prayed fervently, asking for peace and guidance. Each prayer was a plea to the Almighty. "O God of creation, may your mercy be known to the world, echoing through the dappled skies once more." In these moments, a kinship with the Creator deepened, drawing him nearer in faith and understanding. The promise still echoed in his soul. "I will preserve you, Noah. I will establish my covenant with you." What did this covenant truly mean? Would the world beyond the ark be forever changed? Before him lay a future shrouded in divine mystery. Then, on the final morning of rain, an extraordinary stillness descended. The storm had halted, and the clouds began to part. Rays of light pierced the murkiness, revealing vibrant hues of hope against the backdrop of what remained. All around, water stretched endlessly, and Noah and his family gazed in wonder at the sight laid before them. In the quiet that followed the storm, God spoke once more to Noah, saying, "Every living thing shall perish, except for those within this ark. For through you shall a new world emerge." This revelation forged a spirit of resolve deep within Noah, empowering him with the weighty knowledge of his mission. But as they ventured forth, questions lingered in the shadows of his heart. What kind of world awaited them? How would they carry out the instruction of their Creator among the remnants of destruction? And so the door of the ark waited to swing open, a threshold of transformation, an unveiling of God's sovereign purpose. What did the sovereign Lord have planned beyond the flood? Noah whispered to himself, caught in the breath of expectancy, for he knew the journey ahead would be no less demanding, no less sacred. Traces of doubt faded, for a divine assurance now surged within, weaving faith and purpose anew. What awaited them on the other side of the waters as the great Creator prepared to fulfill his promise? Then, as the sun began to stretch its warm rays across the water's surface, casting a golden shimmer over the vast expanse, Noah turned towards his sons, urging them to gather the beasts of the field and the fowl of the air. "Prepare yourselves, for our journey into this new world begins now," he declared, his voice carrying both authority and tenderness. The ark, a vessel of salvation, had ridden the waves with divine grace, and now it lay upon the dry land, untouched by the wrath that had consumed creation. With hearts mingled with awe and fear, Ham, Shem, and Japheth approached the massive door, and with a great effort began to unfasten its locks.
Their labor, though grounded in uncertainty, radiated a trust that God had ordained their safe passage. As the door swung open, the scent of earth, reawakened from its long slumber, filled their lungs, a fragrant promise of new beginnings. The stillness around them was palpable, a sacred hush following the storm's chaos. "Go forth, into the land I have set before you," the voice of the Almighty echoed in Noah's heart once more, filling him with courage. Shem stepped out first, the dust beneath his feet warm and welcoming. He stood in wonder at the transformed landscape. Mountains once hidden by the flood now emerged, majestic and proud. Trees, adorned with the glimmer of fresh leaves, whispered in the gentle breeze of God's renewed creation. As Noah and his family followed, a sense of purpose enveloped them.
While they took their first steps onto dry ground, Noah paused to offer a sacrifice to the Lord, constructing an altar of unhewn stones. He raised his hands towards the heavens, dedicating this new earth in worship. O Lord God, I give you thanks for your mercy and steadfast love, for you have preserved us. The smoke rose, mingling with the fragrance of the earth, a sweet aroma pleasing to the Creator. And the Lord smelled the soothing aroma and was pleased, saying, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth. I will not again destroy every living thing as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. Genesis 8:21-22. With a heart filled with reverence, Noah listened. This promise from the Creator echoed through the ages, a covenant sealed in the very fabric of existence. Yet amidst such assurance, Noah sensed an unspoken weight. The task before him was daunting. How could he cultivate a righteous seed from within a broken world? "Father," Am asked, breaking the silence, "what must we do now?" The question hung in the air, daunting and heavy, as the weight of the generations to come weighed upon them. Noah turned to them and spoke with resolve. "We will be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth." Genesis 9:1. We shall rebuild not only what was lost, but nurture the faith of the generations to come. Our line must be preserved. The earth must know the grace of God once more. As his sons nodded in agreement, a rainbow appeared in the sky, vibrant against the heavens, a testament of God's promise. "This is the sign of the covenant I make. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth." Genesis 9:13. The colors seemed to dance as if echoing the heartbeat of redemption. Thus Noah and his family stood at the edge of creation, on the cusp of a new epoch, where hope arose from the depths of despair. Yet amidst such assurance, Noah sensed an unspoken weight. The task before him was daunting. How could he cultivate a righteous seed from within a broken world? "Father," Am asked, breaking the silence, "what must we do now?" The question hung in the air, daunting and heavy, as the weight of the generations to come weighed upon them. Noah turned to them and spoke with resolve. "We will be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth." Genesis 9:1. We shall rebuild not only what was lost, but nurture the faith of the generations to come. Our line must be preserved. The earth must know the grace of God once more. As his sons nodded in agreement, a rainbow appeared in the sky, vibrant against the heavens, a testament of God's promise. "This is the sign of the covenant I make. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth."
Genesis 9:13. The colors seemed to dance as if echoing the heartbeat of redemption. In the silence, a deeper revelation stirred within the depths of creation, for the journey ahead would not only be one of survival, but of divine purpose. Unfolded, the very fabric of God's sovereignty was yet to be revealed. What would this new reality entail? In reverence and trepidation, Noah embraced the divine mystery, for the unfolding of God's plan was only just beginning. And it came to pass, as the air cooled with the setting sun, that Noah gathered his sons around him, their faces illuminated by the gentle glow of twilight. The earth has been cleansed by the waters, and now we are charged to cultivate it anew, he proclaimed, his voice steady with conviction.
God has endowed us with great grace and responsibility. "Father," inquired Japheth, "what shall we do with all that you have given us? How do we begin?" His question reflected the wonder and uncertainty that danced in all their hearts. "First we shall plant," rested Noah's hands upon his son's shoulders, "for the earth must yield its food. Let us clear the land and sow what the Lord has provided, that we may eat and be fruitful." Thus they took their axes and spades, their hearts united in purpose, and they set forth to till the soil. Day by day they labored under the watchful eye of heaven, uprooting stones and weeds that had been washed ashore. As the weeks passed, the earth began to respond. Sprouts of green emerged from the depths, testimony to the Creator's faithfulness. Corn and grain, vines and olive branches sprang forth, filling the air with the fragrance of new life. At evening's coming, Noah would gather his family again, and they would look upon the harvest with gratitude. "Let us give thanks to the Lord for his bounty," he would say, raising his voice in adoration. With their bellies filled and hearts joyous, Noah's family began to share stories of their ancestors, the faith of Adam, the righteousness of Abel, and the hope that their lineage would continue in faithfulness to God. It was during one such gathering that a shadow passed over Noah's brow, and weary was his heart. "Though the Lord has promised not to flood the earth again, I feel a foreboding," he confessed. "What if the hearts of men without the fear of judgment turn again to wickedness?" Then the Lord spoke, not with thunder, but with a whisper in the depths of Noah's spirit. "Fear not, my servant, I shall establish a covenant with you and your descendants." In that moment a deep peace washed over Noah, accompanied by the echo of divine words, "You shall be a father of many nations." So, with renewed strength, Noah rallied his sons. "We shall build cities and raise families. We will teach our children the ways of the Lord, for they must not forget the covenant we have with the Almighty." As they toiled under the sun, Noah caught sight of a lone dove flitting above the tender shoots of grain. It settled on the freshly constructed altar, a heartening reminder of hope. And so the Spirit of God moves across the face of the earth, bringing life where there was once desolation. But even in the gathering of joy, a trembling uncertainty lingered in the air. What shadows loomed in the distance? As the moon rose high, casting its silver light upon the work of their hands, whispers of doubt stirred amongst men, could not be silenced. The fabric of God's plan began to weave through time itself, intricate and unfathomable. What burdens would fall upon their shoulders, and what struggles would shape their paths? As Noah knelt in prayer beneath the star-clad sky, a gentle breeze whispered through the trees, and he felt the weight of history pressing upon him. Could he truly protect the legacy of righteousness amidst the inevitable cycles of human nature? Thus he remained on his knees, seeking the Lord's guidance as the world turned toward an unknown future, for the journey was just beginning, unscripted and vibrant with divine potential.
In such moments, the reality of God's sovereign hand began to reveal itself, for even in obscured paths he was setting forth the ultimate design of redemption. What would he unfold through our descendants? Noah pondered as he gazed into the heavens, where the stars twinkled like promises yet to be fulfilled. And it came to pass, with the rising sun casting its radiance upon the earth, that the spirit of creation stirred within Noah's heart. He looked upon the flourishing fields and felt the pulse of life beneath the soil, a poignant reminder of God's promise and provision. As he gathered his sons, he sensed that new tasks awaited them beyond planting and harvesting. "Come, my sons," he called, his voice firm yet gentle. "Let us discuss the cities we will build and the foundations we will lay for future generations." And so they assembled under the shade of a great oak, its branches reaching towards the heavens. "What manner of cities shall we construct?" Ham asked with earnestness, his eyes shining with ambition. "Shall we make them grand as the towers of Babel, filled with pride and folly?" "No," Noah replied, with gravity in his tone. "Our cities must reflect the glory of God, a place where His name shall be honored. We will raise homes that teach our children righteousness and paths that lead them towards heaven. We shall build altars of worship, for it is by His grace we endure." As they spoke, the fruit of their labors brought forth more than grain. It filled them with wisdom and purpose. They drew plans in the soil, using sticks as their architects, shaping the land with sacred intentions. It was on one such day, while clearing a glade, that Japheth stumbled upon a curious stone. "Father, behold!" he exclaimed, lifting it from the earth. It was a smooth stone, glistening as though kissed by sunlight. "What shall we do with this find?" Noah approached and examined it carefully. "Let us not cast it aside, but rather keep it among us, for the Lord has a purpose even for that which appears simple," he said, a hint of divine wisdom stirring within him. "Perhaps it shall remind us of a promise yet to unfold." As the days turned into weeks, the work continued, yet turmoil brewed beneath the surface. Whispers of discontent and murmurs of rebellion began to echo among the children of men. Noah's heart would often grow heavy as he recalled the dark times of the flood, a reminder of humanity's propensity for sin. One evening, as twilight bathed the land, Noah climbed upon a rise. He sought the face of the Lord, crying out, "What of this covenant you have made with me? Will my seeds of righteousness be choked by the thorns of iniquity?" In that moment the wind rustled through the trees, and a voice, tender yet mighty, reverberated within him. "Fear not, for there is a remnant that I shall preserve. Your descendants will be a light unto the nations, and from them will come a deliverer, a beacon of hope." Noah, filled with awe, felt renewed vigor surge through his frame. "Then, Father," he murmured, "I will teach my sons to guard their hearts against the allure of wickedness." As he descended the hill, thoughts of future generations filled his mind, and he felt the weight of divine promise swirling within him. The world may turn, but his family, grounded in truth, would serve as a bulwark against the tide of despair. And so, with God's counsel resonating in his spirit, Noah returned to his sons. "Let us prepare our hearts and our lands, for soon we shall witness the outpouring of His blessings." Little did they know, the designs of the Almighty were weaving through their very lives, for the foundations of faith and hope were being laid not only in the soil, but in the legacy they would leave behind. As they looked toward the horizon, a star shone brightly above them, a solitary sentinel in the darkening sky. What shall it herald, they wondered, their hearts entwined with curiosity. For in the fullness of time, Noah murmured, God's purpose shall unfurl like the dawn, revealing paths that lead to freedom. But what trials will our dynasty face before the promise of redemption comes to fruition? And it came to pass, as the days grew longer, and the sun's brightness embraced the earth, that Noah gathered his sons once more. The Spirit of the Almighty was upon him, compelling him to speak. There is more to our work than the cities we shall build, for I have received a vision that may appear strange to you, yet bears great significance. His sons turned their attention to him, their eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and intrigue. "What vision has the Lord shown you, Father?" Shem asked, a sense of urgency in his voice. Noah took a breath, steel formed in his resolve. "The Lord has commanded me to build an ark, for a time shall come, and my heart fears it is near, when the earth shall be washed anew. The hearts of men have grown wicked, and the cries of the innocent rise before him. He will cleanse the land, and preserve a remnant through this vessel." The words fell like a gust of wind, stirring dismay in the hearts of his sons. "An ark?" Ham echoed, bewilderment tracing his features. "What manner of vessel is this?" "A great boat," Noah explained solemnly. "It shall be a sanctuary for our family and the creatures of the earth, 2 of each kind. You will find it detailed in measurements and plans, crafted according to heaven's design." "And how shall we manage such a feat?"
Japheth questioned, glancing toward the forest where timber rose tall and strong. "The task seems insurmountable." "By faith and labor," Noah replied, a fire igniting in his spirit. "We will gather wood and we will build as instructed, for in our obedience lies not only our preservation, but a testament to those who witness our work." He recalled God's promise that through this act a covenant would carry forth beyond the deluge. Thus, guided by their father's vision, the family set about collecting gopher wood, each stroke of their tools resonating with a rhythm of faith and purpose. As the structure began to rise, news spread throughout the land, gossip whispering tales of a madman building a giant boat on dry land. They mocked, scoffed, and derided the works of righteous hands. "See how he builds upon the folly of faith," they cried in the streets, stirring contempt among their neighbors. Yet in the face of disbelief, Noah held steadfast, for he had received both revelation and sustenance from heaven. Nightly he sought the Lord, his faith becoming increasingly unwavering. In those evenings he would gather his sons close, sharing reminders of God's covenant. "Though they mock, remember the faithfulness of our Lord. He will shield us through the storm." Days stretched into months, and the ark's form loomed, an immense sanctuary crafted from strength and stability. Each beam was set in divine alignment, each nail forged in faith. Yet storm clouds loomed within the hearts of men, as their rebellion brewed higher still, causing Noah's spirit to ache. He climbed once more to his mountain rise, where the sky met the earth. "O Lord, relent not in your purpose," he cried, voice rising above the winds. "Let your mercy embolden our hearts, for how long shall the wicked prosper?" In the stillness, God's presence enveloped him. "Fear not, for I have declared a covenant with you. As I guided your hands, so shall I lead you through the waves of judgment." When Noah returned to his sons, he beheld their weary faces filled with anticipation and dread. "Take courage, for this is but the beginning of the story. From the waters shall emerge a new creation, and through the ark shall flow the promise of redemption." But as they labored on, searching the heavens for signs, little did they know that the hour was drawing near, and the depths of God's plans were yet unfathomed. What would the flood waters reveal, and who among the nations would heed the warning of a faithful heart?
and in their hearts a question blossomed. Will we stand witness to a new beginning, or merely observe the end? As they chiseled away at the great walls of the ark, a solemn weight thrummed through the air, weaving the tapestry of divine purpose, yet unfulfilled. And it came to pass, in the days that followed, as the sun cast its light upon the growing vessel, laboring hands forged ahead with fervor.
Noah gathered his sons, encouraging them with tales of faith, stories of the ancients who walked with the Lord and were called righteous. "Brothers," he declared, "each plank tells of our obedience, a declaration to the world that the God we serve is not blind to the deeds of men." Shem listened intently, his heart alight with the hope that burned within him. Yet misgivings lingered in Ham's spirit. "Father," he spoke, his brow furrowing in concern, "what if the earth remains silent? What if this ark stands empty, unused, a monument of faith never tested?" Noah placed a hand on Ham's shoulder, strength emanating from his words. "Though doubt weaves through your heart, remember it is not by our sight we judge the outcome, but by trusting in the unseen promises of God. His decree shall not falter." Meanwhile, the laughter and scorn of the people echoed beyond the mountains and valleys, a cacophony of disbelief that rode upon the winds. "Is he mad?" they exclaimed. "He builds for a flood that will not come." And as their hearts grew cold, the brothers pressed on, each swing of the hammer resonating with resolve, bringing the mantle of God's protection closer to reality. Then, one day, as they toiled beneath the sun's unrelenting gaze, a strange vision seized Noah. It was as if the very heavens whispered mysteries hidden from mortal eyes. He beheld creatures of every kind standing at the gates of the forest, obediently awaiting their summons. "Lord, what do these wonders mean?" he implored, bewildered by the divine assembly. "Soon, my faithful servant," came the reply, gentler than the softest breeze. "These creatures are my plan unfolding. You will gather them, 2 by 2 shall they enter the ark. My covenant shall extend beyond you, for the renewal of creation rests upon your shoulders." In awe, Noah returned to his work, his heart quickened. He shared the vision with his sons, words flowing like water from a spring uncontained. "The time approaches when the Lord shall gather his creation. Prepare yourselves, for all that he has spoken is true." As the weeks waned, the ominous clouds of wickedness darkened the landscape, hearts hardened as stone. The world, unrepentant in its ways, drew deeper into sin, blaspheming the very name of the Almighty. Yet, amid the rising tide of rebellion, Noah's faith burned bright, growing like a beacon on a hill. One night, heavy clouds gathered overhead, casting shadows on the ark that loomed in the fading light. Noah felt a stirring in his spirit. Was it a sign? Kneeling upon the earth, he called unto the Lord with fervent prayer, asking for strength to endure what lay ahead. "O Lord, prepare me for the trial to come. Grant me the power to lead my family through the tempest." As he rose, the very air quivered, and he felt as if in the depths of his soul the heartbeat of the Almighty. The Lord spoke once more. "The time has been set. I shall bring forth the flood, a cleansing of the heart of men.
The ark shall not be a mere refuge, but a testament to my covenant, a reminder that grace remains amid judgment." Daily the ark transformed under their labor, becoming a magnificent shelter of promise. The broad beams and tall walls resounded with the echoes of conversations and laughter, yet the darkness outside loomed heavier with each passing day. As the sun dipped below the horizon one evening, glimmering like a promise unbroken, Noah gathered his sons. Prepare yourselves, for soon we shall witness the unfolding of the greatest chapter in the history of mankind, the irrevocable act of a merciful Creator. There is much yet to reveal. Will the world heed the call of righteousness, or will they turn away from the grace that offers salvation? The brothers exchanged glances, fears mixed with wonder, and as Noah looked upon the heavens, he felt a tremor of the unknown whisper in the winds of change, for the promise of the Lord was near, drawing closer. And thus the question lingered in the air, a divine mystery waiting to unfold. When the rains pour and the earth shakes, shall there be a remnant to be saved, or will the cries of the faithful echo in the silence of a forsaken world? And it came to pass that as the days turned into weeks, a heaviness fell upon the hearts of Noah and his sons, yet they labored on in earnest faith. Each blow of the hammer resounded with the urgency of their divine mission, while the taunts of the wicked echoed around them, a reminder of the world's disdain for their work. Those who passed by, with scorn upon their lips, cried out in derision, "Where is your flood, O builder of a great ship?" But Noah persevered, for the voice of the Lord rang clear in his ears. "Fear not, for I am with you. As in the days of old, so shall my promise be fulfilled." One day, as Noah paused to catch his breath, he was drawn to the edge of the landscape where the skies thundered ominously. The clouds surged and roiled, as if the heavens themselves marked the approaching hour of reckoning. He turned towards his sons and gathered them close. "Brothers, behold, the time is upon us when the promise of the Almighty shall be revealed. He will not delay any longer. The earth shall be cleansed of its wickedness." As they listened, a sudden calmness enveloped them. They could feel the weight of destiny resting on their shoulders. Shem spoke, his voice steady. "Father, what shall we do when the creatures arrive?" With a firm gaze, Noah replied, "We shall trust in the Lord's command. Each beast, each fowl shall be part of this covenant, an act of creation renewed. 2 by 2 they will come, as he has said." And lo, as the sun set behind the mountains, casting a crimson glow upon the ark, strange sounds emerged, rustling in the thick brush, a whisper of movement. Suddenly, from the shadows, the animals began to appear, creeping forth in pairs, drawn by the unseen hand of God.
Lions, lambs, doves, and serpents joined in a strange procession, each finding their appointed place as they moved towards the ark's open door. "Father, look!" exclaimed Ham, awestruck by the miraculous sight. "The promise unfolds before our very eyes." Indeed, it was as if creation heeded the very call of its Creator. Noah knelt in humble worship, his heart brimming with gratitude. "O Lord, you are faithful beyond measure. Your promises endure through all generations." The brothers, they too fell to their knees, filled with reverence for the God who commanded the very creatures of the earth. As the last animal entered the ark, a great stillness descended. The wind slowed, and a silence enveloped the land. Yet the hearts of the people outside grew darker still, and their laughter twisted into mockery as they came to witness the spectacle. "This man shall be our ruin," they shouted, their hearts untouched by the divine spectacle that lay before their eyes. "Oh, if only they would turn," Noah sighed, looking upon the hardened faces. "For the mercy of the Lord is vast, yet they remain blind to the hope that we embrace." Time passed, and as the last of the creatures settled within the ark, the sky swirled with ominous clouds, pregnant with rain. Then suddenly the heavens roared, and thunder crashed as rain began to fall.
The first drops fell like the tears of a grieving world, and with them came the dawning of the flood. "Go within," Noah commanded his family, quickly ushering them into the ark, a refuge in the tempest. With a heavy heart he closed the door, the sound echoing like a final farewell to a world unwilling to repent. And there they stood together in faith, as within them surged the promise of salvation. Outside, the floodwaters began to rise, an unfolding of judgment and mercy intertwined. But as the earth trembled under the wrath of God, a question loomed within Noah as he gazed upon the creation held in the ark. What will come of those who have turned their backs on your grace? Shall they face the storm, forever shrouded in darkness? Thus the mystery of God's sovereign plan remained even in the grip of unfolding calamity, a divine purpose steadily working towards a restoration that none could foresee. And it came to pass, as the rain poured down, a torrent like no other fell upon the earth, flooding the land and magnifying the distress of those outside the ark. The waters surged higher, and the great darkened sky seemed to merge with the rising sea. The laughter of the wicked was drowned in fear, as the roar of the tempest echoed across the landscape. The hearts of the people, which had been hardened, now quaked in terror, but it was too late for their cries to reach the ears of mercy. Within the confines of the ark, Noah and his family were enveloped in a sacred quietude, a stark contrast to the chaos that surrounded them. The sound of raindrops pattering against the ark echoed like a reminder of God's covenant.
"Fear not," spoke Noah to his sons, drawing them closer to him, "for the Lord has enclosed us in his promise. We must hold fast to our faith, for he will see us through this storm." As days turned to nights, the deluge showed no sign of abating. The waters, which mirrored the swirling heavens, covered the mountains, swallowing the desolate expanse of the earth below. The ark became a sanctuary, its wooden ribs strengthened by the hand of the Almighty, a testament to divine providence. And as the storms resided above, the heart of Noah remained steadfast, for he was assured by God that new life would blossom anew after the tempest had passed. "Father," spoke Japheth, his voice trembling yet filled with a flicker of hope, "will the world remain as it is forever, or will there be a time when we may behold what has been hidden from our eyes?" Noah, gazing out from the high windows of the ark, took a deep breath. "My son, the Lord has a plan beyond our understanding. Just as he commanded the faithful creatures to enter, so too shall he release a promise of renewed creation. Even in judgment, his mercy will weave the fabric of salvation." Then the days stretched long, and the ark, tossed upon the great waters, felt like a vessel of both despair and hope. As he looked upon the animals at rest, a peace unfurled in Noah's heart. He understood that what was happening was a cleansing, not merely of the earth, but of the human soul, a testament to the justice of God. As the footsteps of time continued, a stillness came to the skies above. After 40 days and nights of relentless rain, the torrential downpour began to relent. In the silence, a whisper surfaced in the depths of Noah's spirit, a divine assurance that the life to come would be bountiful and blessed. "O Lord," he murmured in prayer, "let your will be done." Suddenly, as the clouds began to part, rays of sunlight pierced through the heavens, illuminating the waters below, an iridescent promise that encompassed the vessel. A warmth filled the hearts of those on board, and they lifted their voices in humble worship. "Behold the faithfulness of our God," they cried, joining hands in fervent gratitude for the salvation that had enveloped them.
And then, as if orchestrated by the very breath of the Creator, the ark came to rest upon the mountains of Ararat. The waters began to recede, unraveling the depths of destruction, revealing the earth anew. With trembling anticipation, Noah released a raven into the vast expanse, yearning to discover if the earth had begun to breathe once more. But when it returned, empty and restless, he knew that the journey towards restoration had only just begun. Yet a question lingered deep within Noah's heart, a divine prompting. What shall be the legacy of this new beginning? How shall the world remember this act of divine mercy mixed with judgment? A sense of holy urgency gripped him, revealing a profound truth that God's plan was yet unfurling, holding within it the seeds of grace for generations to come. And it came to pass, as the sun cast its first light upon the desolate earth, that Noah emerged from the ark with a heart both hushed and awakened. The soft murmur of rustling leaves welcomed him amidst a landscape transformed, where life awaited rebirth. With his family beside him, he stepped onto the dry ground, and the weight of their decision settled within. What would they make of this new world that lay before them? Noah raised his hands to the heavens, his voice a profound declaration of gratitude. O Lord, in you I place my trust. The floodwaters may have cleansed the earth, yet your covenant remains steadfast. Through my hands let your will be done. In this moment of divine communion, God spoke to Noah again. Noah, you and your sons are charged to be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it. The commission hung heavy and sweet upon his heart, for the Creator's intent was clear. Emergence from desolation was merely the beginning of a greater journey. Noah turned to his sons, and their eyes sparkled with shared resolve. We are to build anew, crafting not only homes of brick and stone, but altars where we may offer our praise to the God who has seen us through the storm. With a strength born of faith and necessity, the family set about gathering the remnants of creation and laying the groundwork for a new life. They built habitable dwellings, working together in harmony, yet always mindful of the sacred responsibility bestowed upon them. As days turned to weeks, the beauty of restoration unveiled itself. Budding trees and swaying grasses sprang from the once drowning earth, a testament to God's merciful hand. Yet as life flourished, an underlying fear nestled within Noah's heart. What would become of the generations that followed? Would they remember the lessons embodied in the covenant sealed by the rainbow? One evening, as the horizon blushed with shades of twilight, Noah called his family together. With warmth and earnestness he spoke, "Let us not forget the ways of the Lord and the promises we carry, for the hearts of men, unless guided by divine love, may still turn astray." His sons, emboldened by their father's words, pledged to nurture this sacred memory. They vowed to teach their children the stories of faith, of obedience, and the promise of God's everlasting grace. For within us lies the legacy of righteousness, Shem declared fervently, a spark igniting in their hearts. From their humble altars they honored God, each offering finding favor in the eyes of the Almighty. With every prayer they sought guidance for the days to come, affirming their dedication to live as conduits of God's mercy in a world eager for both light and hope. And it was then that the Lord looked upon Noah and his family, delighting in their faithful response.
He reaffirmed the covenant, saying, "I have set my bow in the clouds as a sign of my promise. Never again shall a flood destroy all flesh. The earth shall endure, and the cycle of seasons will remain." Genesis 9:13. With each new dawn, Noah reminded his family about the past, but imbued their discussions with the energy of dreams for the future, dreams for lush gardens, flourishing livestock, and families raised in faith. The community began to grow, travelers drawn to the story of salvation revealed through the ark. As the children of Ham, Shem, and Japheth played and learned, they were mystified by the colors of the rainbow stretching across the sky, a vivid reminder of God's promises. The legacy of faith began to take root in fertile soil, and thus the fears of Noah began to dissipate, swept away in the grace of God. Yet in the cycle of this divine history, the hearts of men would continually be tested, forever caught between destinies of righteousness and rebellion. Noah, the righteous servant, understood this well. Each heartbeat of creation resonated with a divine narrative, the intertwining of hope and the constant battle against the shadows of sin. Days turned into years, and the heritage of faith flourished, blossoming like a tree under the sun. The lessons of love, mercy, and sacred responsibility were woven into the fabric of their legacy, a living testament to the covenant made in the wake of the flood. Noah breathed deep, observing his family flourish. Within him swelled the trust of their cries of joy, the sound of laughter, reminding him that even amid tribulation, God's plan would prevail. The story of their covenant would echo through time, reverberating across generations yet to come. Thus, as they stood in unity, hearts entwined, and gazed upon the tapestry of life unfolding before their eyes, Noah's spirit rejoiced. His faith had not waned, nor was it in vain. It was the sacred foundation upon which a world rebirthed would rise. They would move forward, not simply as survivors, but as the keepers of divine promises, living witnesses to the grace of God. And finally, dear friends, this moment calls upon you. Consider the wondrous stories of redemption that have changed lives through faith. You need to subscribe now to stay connected to God's Word and witness the unfolding narratives of hope and grace. This is the moment to help spread biblical truth. Double tap that like button now to share our journey through the lens of the Lord. What reflections stir in your spirit as you contemplate Noah's journey? Impact your faith by commenting below and sharing your thoughts with the community. Don't wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony with at least 5 friends who need to hear God's truth. Let's stand together in the light of His Word, upholding the divine stories that transform lives for eternity.